Welcome back to History of Simple Things. Today's topic comes from one of our viewers, Sengfukliu6908. Thanks for the suggestion. You asked, what are the different types of salt? It may seem like a simple question, but if you've ever walked through the seasoning aisle, you've probably noticed there's far more than just ordinary table salt. From sea salt and kosher salt to Himalayan pink salt and delicate flaky salt, they all look different. But are they really that different? And do they actually change the way food tastes, or is it mostly marketing? Stick around as we uncover the fascinating story behind the different types of salt, right here on History of Simple Things. Salt has been one of humanity's most valuable resources for thousands of years. Long before refrigerators existed, people relied on salt to preserve meat, fish, and vegetables. Ancient civilizations in Mesopotamia, Egypt, China, and later the Roman Empire all recognized its importance. In fact, salt was so valuable that it became a form of currency in some regions and helped shape trade routes across continents. Entire cities prospered because they sat near salt mines or evaporation ponds. Although salt is inexpensive and abundant today, its historical influence on civilization is difficult to overstate. The salt found in most kitchens is table salt. It's usually mined from underground salt deposits that formed when ancient seas evaporated millions of years ago. After mining, the salt is heavily refined to remove minerals and impurities, leaving nearly pure sodium chloride. Many brands also add iodine, an essential nutrient introduced in the early 20th century to help prevent iodine deficiency and thyroid disorders. Anti-caking agents are commonly mixed in as well, keeping the tiny grains free-flowing instead of clumping together. Because the crystals are small and uniform, table salt dissolves quickly and provides a consistent salty flavor, making it ideal for baking and everyday cooking. Sea salt comes from evaporated seawater rather than underground mines. Producers allow seawater to evaporate naturally under the sun or use controlled heating methods, leaving behind salt crystals. Since it undergoes less processing than table salt, sea salt often retains trace amounts of minerals such as magnesium, calcium, and potassium. However, despite popular belief, these minerals exist only in very small quantities and don't make sea salt significantly healthier than regular table salt. The biggest differences are usually texture and flavor. Depending on where it's harvested, sea salt can range from fine grains to large, crunchy crystals that add texture when sprinkled over finished dishes. Kosher salt isn't called kosher because it's blessed or inherently more religious than other salts. Instead, its name comes from its traditional use in the koshering process, where coarse salt draws blood from meat according to Jewish dietary practices. Its larger, irregular flakes are easy to pinch with your fingers, giving cooks better control while seasoning food. Because the crystals contain more air between them, a spoonful of kosher salt weighs less than the same spoonful of table salt. That's why recipes specifying kosher salt shouldn't automatically be substituted with equal amounts of table salt, or the dish may become much saltier than intended. Perhaps the most recognizable specialty salt today is Himalayan pink salt. Despite its name, it doesn't come directly from the Himalayan mountains, but from the Kira salt mine in present-day Pakistan, located near the Himalayan foothills. These deposits formed from ancient seas that dried up over 250 million years ago. Its distinctive pink color comes from tiny amounts of iron oxide along with other trace minerals. While it's often marketed as a superfood, Scientific research shows these minerals are present in amounts far too small to provide meaningful health benefits through normal consumption. Its popularity is largely due to its attractive appearance, mild flavor, and decorative uses including salt lamps and serving blocks. Some salts are designed not for cooking but for finishing dishes. Flaky salts, such as those produced through carefully controlled evaporation, form delicate pyramid-shaped or paper-thin crystals that shatter pleasantly between your teeth. Instead of dissolving immediately, these flakes provide little bursts of saltiness and a satisfying crunch. That's why chefs often sprinkle them over grilled steaks, roasted vegetables, chocolate desserts, or fresh-baked bread just before serving. The texture creates an eating experience that ordinary fine salt simply can't match. So, does one salt taste better than another? Chemically speaking, nearly all edible salts are overwhelmingly made of sodium chloride, so their basic salty taste is remarkably similar. What changes is the size and shape of the crystals, how quickly they dissolve, and whether they contain tiny amounts of other minerals. These factors affect how salt feels on your tongue and how evenly it seasons food. In everyday cooking, most people would struggle to distinguish different salts once they've fully dissolved into soups or sauces. Their greatest differences become noticeable when they're sprinkled on food just before serving, where texture becomes just as important as flavor. At first glance, salt seems incredibly simple, but it has a surprisingly rich story. From ancient trade routes and underground mines to modern gourmet kitchens, each type of salt reflects a different journey through nature and human history. Whether you prefer affordable table salt, versatile kosher salt, crunchy sea salt, colorful Himalayan pink salt, or delicate finishing flakes, they all remind us that even the simplest ingredients can have fascinating origins. And sometimes, understanding those everyday details makes us appreciate what's already sitting in our kitchen just a little bit more. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.